The definitions of a database. From Garcia Molina, Ullman, and Wildem, in essence, a database is nothing more than a collection of information that exists over a long period of time, often many years. After that, Elmastry and Nevada said that a database is a collection of related data. By data, we mean known facts that can be recorded and that have implicit meaning. After that, Connolly and Beck also said that a database is a shared collection of logically related data and its descriptions designed to meet the information needs of an organization. Okay, next we move to the characteristic of database. First of all, data is a single, possibly large repository of data that can be used simultaneously by many departments and users. After that, all data are integrated with a minimum amount of duplication. Next, a shared corporate resource. Then, not only hold operational data but also a description of this data, which is metadata or data dictionary. The Database Management System, DBMS. What is DBMS? DBMS is a powerful tool for creating and managing large amounts of data efficiently and allowing it to persist over a long period of time safely. DBMS expected to data definition language, allow users to create new databases and specify their schemes. After that, query language or data manipulation language. Give users the ability to query or questions the data and modify the data. After that, supports storage and allowing for efficient access of very large amount of data. Then, durability. Durability allowing recovery of the database in the face of failures, errors of many kinds of intentional misuse. After that, control access to data from many users at once without allowing unexpected interactions among users, called isolations, and without actions on the data to be performed partially but not completely. Types of database management systems. Number 1. Hierarchical databases. Number 2. Network databases. Number 3. Relational databases. Number 4. Object-oriented databases. Number 5. Graph databases. Number 6. ER model databases. And finally, number 7. Document databases. The evolution of database. The power of database comes from a body of knowledge and technology that has developed over several decades and is embodied in specialized software called a database management system, DBMS, or more colloquially, database system. After that, the first commercial DBMS appeared in the late 1960s. DBMS evolved from file-based system, FBS, which were an early attempt to computerize the manual filing system that we are all familiar with. Here are some examples. Evolution of database technology. In 1970s, relational database. After that, 1999, in-memory database. Then we move to 2008, which is web scale. And then 2010, vertical databases. The weaknesses of file-based system, or FBS. Data is isolated in separate files. More difficult to access the data, FBS do not support efficient access to data item whose locations in a particular file which is not known. After that, duplication of data. The decentralization of most file-based systems encourage uncontrolled duplication of data, lead to waste, cost of storage and other associated costs, and loss of data integrity or inconsistency. Then, data dependence. Data definitions in file-based system is limited to creation of directory structures for files. Physical structure and storage of data files and records are defined in the application code. This means that changes to an existing structure are difficult to make. Incompatible file format. The structure of file is embedded in the application's programs and dependent on the programming language. For example, is COBOL, which stands for Common Business Oriented Language. Hence, the file structure generated by different programs might be incompatible and difficult to be joined. Fixed queries do not support complex query inability to question the data. Lastly, proliferations of applications programs is breakdown when we have to cross-reference or process the information in the files. Access control in most file-based systems only allows
Today, I will explain about the database system environments. What's the meaning of the database system environment? Which is they have a hardware, software, data, procedure, and pupils. Okay, we are going to explain about hardware. Hardware is a range from a single computer to a single mainframes or a network of computer. A DBMS requires a minimum amount of the memory and hard disk space to run, but this minimum configuration may not necessarily give acceptable performance. Next is a software. Software is a comprise the DBMS software itself and the application programs together with the operating system, including the network software. If the DBMS is being used over a network, application program are normally written a third generation program language 3GL and fourth generation language 4GL. Data. Data is the act as a bridge between the machine and components and the human components. The database contains both the operationals and metadata, data about data. A structure of the database is called the schema. The schema consists of table of file and fields. Next is a procedure. Procedure is referred to instruction and rules that govern the design and use of the database. The documented procedure may consist instructions on how to log on to the DBMS, use a particular DMS facility or application program, start and stop the DBMS, make backup copies of the database, handle hardware and software failures, change the structure of a table, recognize the database across multiple disks, improve performance, or achieve data to secondary storage. Next, we going to the pupil. Pupil, there are four distinct types of the pupil who participate in the DBMS environment. The first one is a data administrator and database administrator. What's the meaning of the data administrator? Data administrator responsible for the management of the data resource, including data planning, development and maintenance of standard, policy and procedure, and conceptual or logical database design. Database administrator is responsible for the physical realizations of the database, including physical database designs and implementations, security and integrity control, maintenance of the operational system, and ensuring satisfactory performance of the application of user. Next is a database designers. Database designers have a two main point, which is a logical database designer. Concepts which identify the data, the relationship between the data, the relationship between the data and the constraint on the data that is to be stored in the database. Physical database designer decide how the logical database is designed is to be physical realized. Next is application developers. Application developers is implement the application program that provide the required functionality for the end user based on the specifications produced by the system analyst. Last one is the end users. End user is a client of a database. End user can be classified according to the way they use the system, which is naive user and sophisticated user. Naive user is a typically unaware of the DBMS, access the database through specially written application program that attempt to make operation as simple as possible. Sophisticated user is familiar with the structure of the database and the facility offered by the DBMS. may use a high-level query and language such as SQL to perform the required operation. Some may even write the application program for their own use.
Hi everyone, today I would like to present to you about the importance of database. Hope all of you can give me some additions. I see. Okay, first, education. As a student in university and college, we maintain all these records through database management system, such as student registration details, result, courses, and grades. All the information are stored in database that are much simpler than using the paper, right? Okay, second, manufacturing. Manufacturing companies make products and sell them on the daily basis. To keep records of all the details about their products like quantity, bills, purchase, supply chain management, database is used. Also helps company to transfer the said data through the entire system. It really saves the time, okay? And third, marketing. Okay. Database will manage, organize, store, capture, and analyze data for various users and applications to support their business process. For example, we can promote our business by using previous database or getting new database using ads. Using ads such as we use platform Facebook or Instagram to get the customer name and phone number, and we call it as a customer database. So we can do the marketing based on database. And then for sales or finance. Okay, for finance, bank handle large amount of customer data. A database enables them to store that data, operate on it, and retrieve it when needed, fast enough for their customer needs. So we don't need to wait too long to get through the bank, okay? For sales, if you are dealing with a new number of clients, database management will let you recall previous sales, location, and etc. This is important to learn about customer, where are the sales coming from, and what income bracket do they fall into. It will be middle or upper, lower, okay? So we can know about it. Next, human resource. Okay, database manage the employee records, distribute legal information to employees, and create updated hire report. And they also provide details on administration, payroll, recruitment, and training. This system is expected to deliver valuable results to human resource division and their organization as a whole. It is an essential tool that aids management in making strategic decisions. That's why database used in human resource. Moving to health, the use of database in health is healthcare data tends to reside in multiple places, from different source systems like EMRs or HR software to different departments like radiology or pharmacy. The data comes from all over the organization. Aggregating this data into a single central system such as an enterprise data warehouse (EDW) make this data accessible and actionable. For agricultural producers are using computerized database to store and study their records, available for PCs and are used in wide variety of agricultural applications. The data help farmers plan, manage, and protect their crops by using a number of open federal government datasets, including weather history and forecasts from the National Weather Service, such as machinery, crop, livestock, and all payroll records are maintained in database. E-government or online business. Online shopping has become a big trend of this day. No one wants to go to shops and waste his time. Everyone wants to shop from home, so all these products are added and sold only with the help of database. Purchase information, invoices, and payment, all of these are done with the help of database. Example, Lazada store the information of customer, which is where every customer will sign up their profile account, and the Lazada web can get their account easily. Lastly, defense or military. The Military Service Business Database, or we call it as MSFD, is an efficient and easy-to-use computer application designed to automate administration of the Army Weight Control Program (AWCP) and the Army Physical Fitness Test (APFT) by recording, calculating, and permanently storing soldiers' body weight and fitness data. As such, the MSFD provides the ability to track a soldier's compliance with weight and fitness over time, thereby allowing identification of soldiers progressively gaining weight or performing poorly on the APFD. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
I would like to present advantages of database. It has 14 advantages of database. Firstly, control of data redundancy. We control the data redundancy by eliminate data redundancy by integrating the files so that multiple copies of the same data are not stored. However, the database does not eliminate redundancy entirely, but control the amount of redundancy inherent in the database because sometimes it is necessary to duplicate key data items to model relationship or improve performance. Second, data consistency. We ensure data consistency by storing and updating data only once and make them available immediately to all users. Third, more information from the same amount of data. The organization can derive additional information by integrating operational data. It means we combine the same amount of data and can be used by all the organization. Fourth, sharing of information. The database belongs to the entire organization and can be shared by all authorized users. Next, improve data integrity. Improve data integrity refers to the validity and consistency of stored data. Integrity means expressed in terms of constraints, which are consistency rules that the database is not permitted to violate. Improved security is protection from unauthorized users, and integration allows the database administrators to define database security and the database to enforce it. And the security may take the form usernames and password to identify people authorized to use the database. It means the advantage of database, it can improve security from the unauthorized users by take the form usernames and password to identify people authorized to use the database. And then enforcement of standard. Enforcement of standards means integration also allow database administrator to define and the database enforce the necessary standards. This may include departmental, organizational standard for such thing as data format to facilitate exchange of data between system, naming convention, documentation standards, update procedure and access rules. Economy of scale. It means cost savings by combining budget that normally allocated to each department for the development and maintenance of its file-based system. It means we can save our cost by using the database because we can allocate the big file on one database. And then balance of conflicting requirements. It means database administrator has control over the database and can make decisions about the design and operational use of the database that provide the best use of resources for the organization as a whole rather than decision made at departmental level which often conflicting with each other. It can improve data accessibility and responsiveness. Data integration in database allows data that crosses departmental boundaries is directly accessible to the end users. Furthermore, many databases provide query language or report writers that allow users to ask ad hoc questions and to obtain the required information almost immediately. It means when we use the database, we can improve our data accessibility with more information that can be obtained from the database system. Next, increase productivity. The database management system increase programmers' productivity and reduce development time because first, database provide many of the standard functions that the programmer would normally have to write in a file-based application. This allows the programmers to concentrate on the specific functionality required by the users. Second, many database also provides a 4GL environment consisting of tools to simplify the development of database application. And then improve maintenance through data independence. Unlike file-based system, database separate the data description from the application, thereby making application immune to changes in the data description. This is known as data independence and it is simplified database maintenance. That increase concurrency. Concurrency, we can say other than concurrency, we can say that it seems like adjacent. So, many database manage concurrent access and ensure that only one user is allowed to access one file at one time, so that data access is not interfere with each other. Improve backup and recovery services. Modern database provide facilities to minimize the amount of processing that is lost following a failure.
Cost and risk disadvantages of database. The first one is complexity. The provision of functionality that users expect from a database makes it an extremely complex piece of software. Understanding of this functionality is the key to take the full advantage of it. The second one is the breadth of functionality also makes the DBMS an extremely large piece of software, occupying many megabytes of disk space and requiring substantial amount of memory to run efficiently. Next, cost of DBMS. The cost of DBMS varies significantly depending on the environment and functionality provided. There is also the recurrent annual maintenance cost, which is typically a percentage of list price. The fourth one is additional hardware cost. Storage requirement for a database may necessitate to the purchase of additional storage. Additionally, to achieve the required performance, larger machine and additional hardware may also be necessary. Next, cost of conversion. Sometimes, the cost of converting existing applications to run on the new database and hardware can be higher than the DBMS and the hardware itself. This cost is one of the reasons why some organizations feel tied to their current system, legacy system, and cannot switch to modern database technology. The other disadvantages is performance. Unlike file-based system, the database is written to be more general to cater for many applications rather than just one, resulting in some applications may not run as fast as they used to. And the last one is greater impact of failure. The centralization of resources by the database increases vulnerability of the system. Failure of certain database can bring operation to halt.